Okay, I want to do a quick demo on how to balance the camera, and most of the stuff is in the book, so we don't need to go over everything, but this is how I get the mark for center of gravity. I use what's available here, and we've already marked it. And then very carefully when we put this in, and our gross adjustment, I want the mark to be at the back of the post, because that's going to be close to dynamic balance. So let me just look at that. And then I'll lock that off. Okay, I make a decision about where the monitor is. I've decided this is how I want the shot. This is the length I want it. And now I need to balance in for static balance and also for dynamic balance when we get to that. All right. So very quickly, just put it up on the balancing stud. And my goodness, it's leaning forward. But let's check the drop time anyway. That's a pretty nice drop time. So the monitor's where I want it. The camera's very close to where I want it. So now I'm just going to move the battery out. That's the only other thing we've got. So there we go. That's pretty close. Now I fine tune with the camera, and you notice I'm using my hand grip on it to hold it where I want it. And when it moves, I do a little twisting and a little twisting so I get it nice and level. And all right, and then if I had to shoot right now, especially since it's not wildly, it's very close to dynamic balance, I'm ready to go. But I am going to try doing the old dynamic balance test. All right, so I move this around. I hope this stays put. And I'm going to put an extra hand on here. And what we're going to do is get it so it's not moving and just give it a spin. And that's not very good. All right, so the only thing I can move is the camera back and the batteries forward, or the batteries back and the camera forward. And I'm just going to try this. I'm going to move this back a little bit. I'm going to move this forward just a hair. Okay, and then we static balance again very carefully. Make sure it's good and level. And we give it another spin. A little bit better. So I'm going to move the batteries in just a hair more. I think that moved it. There we go. And I'll move the camera back a hair. Again, so we're nice and level. And give it another spin. Not perfect. But it's a very easy process. You just keep doing it. I'm having most difficulty with this stand wanting to fall over. I need more things. All right, there we go. You can see it's getting better and better. When it gets this close, I want to double check my static balance. Make sure my side to side is just perfect. And make sure that my fore and aft is just perfect. Because sometimes that is what's really affecting it more than other things. Oop, I moved the stand that time. And then sometimes you throw it wrong, and then the whole thing is terrible. So you got to be very careful about what's really happening. All right, I'm very, very close. I'm going to bring the battery in just one more little notch. And I would certainly shoot like this. I mean, you know, this is not far off from what would be perfectly fine for shooting, but let's say we had a really big whip pan. And okay. Very good. Okay, we're really pretty close. We could get a little bit better, but it doesn't matter. I want to show you one other thing though. If I trim now for headroom, let's say I was trimming for headroom, which is a very typical thing we've done. So I've just spent a minute or so trimming, and now I spin balance. Watch what happens. The whole thing goes wacky. So I've just wasted a lot of time if I'm trimming. right? What you should do is get it into a nice state of dynamic balance so the post is perfectly vertical, right? And then if you need to trim, and I usually set up my stage this way, slightly down anyway, but I'm going to be really crazy. I'm going to tilt way down. All right? I've tilted way, way down here. And now I'm going to balance statically again. I'm going to make sure that it holds there. And we got to. Okay, now we're back in static balance. Pretty good. Check my side to side. Okay. Post is pretty vertical. All right, remember how bad it was before? And this may not be set perfectly, but there we go, watch. This is why you want a tilt head. Because the post remains vertical. And if it remains vertical and it's statically balanced, it will be in dynamic balance. And without a tilt head, you can't do anything remotely like this. Okay? There we go.